It is some of the most expensive and most critical spending that a government does. This federal government has already spent billions of dollars on military equipment and has plans to spend billions more. But tonight there are serious concerns at the highest security levels in Washington that big ticket items the Canadian military is buying are being built using counterfeit parts, and that the cost of that could be catastrophic. CBC's Greg Weston has been working this story for us. Greg.
Peter, after a 14-month investigation, the warning from the powerful U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee is very clear.
There is a flood of counterfeits, and it is putting our military men and women at risk and costing us a fortune.
Levin's committee uncovered 1,800 cases of counterfeit electronic military components involving more than 1 million bogus parts. Fake electronics in everything from helicopters to the guidance systems in Hellfire missiles. Counterfeit designer purses and watches from China are nothing new, but cheap knockoffs in the electronics for this? Canada is not immune. National Defense recently bought fleets of U.S.-made transport planes. The U.S. Senate investigation found bogus components in the control panels of the same models. A failure of those parts made the instrument panels go blank.
I don't have any.
Canada's Associate Minister of Defense seems unfazed.
As it stands right now, we don't have the same concerns that the Americans have.
Inadvertently, ordinary Canadians may be part of the Chinese counterfeiting. Every year, Canadians throw out tons of old computers. Mountains of those parts end up in the streets of China. Workers dismantle them by hand, often melting circuit boards over open fires. Parts are then resold as new.
These cases pose a significant reliability risk. Some of these could be catastrophic.
We simply cannot tolerate the presence of counterfeit parts in our missile defense system.
Affect the integrity of weapons.
Rick Hillman led a U.S. government investigation into online trading of military parts. Hillman's office set up a dummy company and went shopping. Everything it bought turned out to be a fake. All the parts were from China.
These are common electronic parts that are found in scores of weapon systems, including very sophisticated military radar systems, fighter jet planes, missiles, and the like.
These are actual counterfeit parts.
Dr. Simard Normandin operates a CSI-type lab to identify counterfeit parts. Some of her work is for Canadian military suppliers.
When we received those chips for analysis, they looked absolutely brand new. And then we put them in the in that acoustic microscope, and we find they're all cracked and damaged inside.
She says part of the problem is counterfeiters are getting better, and it's getting harder to detect the fakes. Canada's largest defense suppliers agree.
It is an issue for everybody, that they have to be very diligent.
The U.S. investigation has led to tough new military procurement laws south of the border. One aircraft executive expects Canada will follow.
I would suspect they would watch what the U.S. does and see if it replies and put the changes out accordingly.
But Associate Defense Minister Fantino remains unconcerned.
I've been advised that the checks and balances we have in place in our country are sufficient.
We asked National Defense what exactly those checks and balances are. It says there is a rigorous process in place to ensure the highest quality of their parts. Peter?
Greg Weston in Ottawa tonight. Thanks, Greg.